what's important? Like, what are the things that I really want to accomplish that's going to take me towards my goals, right?
Mhm.
Not just like, oh, this is the fun thing to do, but like, what's actually going to make a dent in like the journey I'm trying to take?
Today on Light Life and Limitations, we're talking with someone who knows how to turn life's chaos into laughter. Jabari Saeed, a stand up comedian and improv actor based outside of Philadelphia. Jabari has carved out his place in the local comedy scene with sharp wit, quick thinking, and a storytelling style that blends vulnerability with humor. He became a finalist at Helium Comedy Club's Philly's Funniest Person competition, an achievement that highlights not just his talent, but his discipline, resilience, and a true love for the craft. In this episode, we dig into the creative engine behind comedy, the writing, the rewriting, the nights that bomb, the nights that soar, and the emotional stamina it takes to build a comedic voice. We're exploring burnout and recovery, the balancing act between real life and late night shows, and what it means to build a personal brand in an industry that constantly shifts. The conversation is equal parts honest, hilarious, and deeply human. I'm your host, Sharvon Hales, and this is Light Life and Limitations, a podcast where creativity meets reality.
When the world feels out of frame, every thought, every fear, every revelation, I find my way through the quiet flame, lighting life in all the limitations.
Welcome, Jabari.
Woo! Look at that.
Look
You
at
read
that.
that thing. Look at that.
Woo, I know, man. I had to practice it like a couple times after that Philly's funniest that was throwing me off, man.
It still got you. It still
Yeah,
tripped you up just
it
a
still
tad
did,
bit.
but I got through it.
The people know.
Yeah.
They figured it out.
But, I appreciate you joining me. You're my second guest, my second interview. You were definitely at the top of the list of people who I thought about when I was putting this idea together.
Mm.
Having watched your growth as a comedian, and having personal experience of of your comedy and your roasting. But first, I'm gonna let you tell the people listening and watching who you are, what you do, and where you're from.
All right, perfect. Yeah, so first of all, thanks for having me. My name is Jabari Saeed. Uh, I'm a lot of things. I'm a stand-up comedian. I'm an improv actor. I'm an improv teacher. I also coach. I'm a Lyft driver. I'm a customer service representative. I do a lot of different things. I promote. Um, I'm an Ohio native, but I've been living in the Philly area for the past 15 years now. Fell in love with it, and there's just so many opportunities here. So this is the place that I've decided to try to make a name for myself.
Nice. And just some background on how I know Jabari. We've known each other now for about 12 and a half years. He was my
Yeah.
cubicle neighbor at our current place of employment for our day jobs,
Hmm.
and very quickly became one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life. I do miss all of your characters and all of your improv, in-office improv that would get us through the day and help us maintain our sanity. But I I just wanted to, um, give you your flowers on definitely. I mean, I've told you this to your face, but, you've cracked us up, for many, many years, as well as you've roasted me, and I've also been roasted by both of your children. I've
Yeah.
also been Jabari's, short notice babysitter for his kids, who are just as funny, if not funnier than him.
Yeah, no, they're funnier. We might as well just put that out there now. Truth be told, you should be interviewing them if they'd actually accomplished anything in life. I can
Too
bring them
soon.
downstairs and they could talk about the struggles of, high school. But, that's not what this podcast is
The
about.
struggles of being a Gen I guess, Amir's a Gen
Mm,
Z, and
mm.
then
He's Z
Amora
and she's Alpha,
Alpha, yeah, and Gen Alpha will tear you apart. Like, I'm
ish,
I'm good on that.
as she does on a consistent basis.
So, at what point did you realize, like, comedy was something you wanted to do?
I wanted to do comedy ever since I was little. I didn't know what it was, but I always knew I wanted to be funny.
Mhm.
Um, I was probably 5, 6 years old, and I would just go over all these knock knock jokes with my aunts and cousins, which I'm sure got on their nerves, which I know for a fact got on their nerves. I was not funny as a child. It was something that I had to learn to become, and something that I tell people a lot of times. Like I feel like a lot of times talent isn't necessarily it's not something that you're born with necessarily. Like you can have like innate traits that help you become something, but a lot of times I think talent is more so like the desire to figure something out.
Mhm. It's kinda like a muscle
Um,
that you have to, like, work out and build.
yeah, exactly. Like I always knew I wanted to figure out how to make people laugh. And it wasn't until maybe I was about 14 that I kind of cracked the code and figured it out. And then I would say probably sometime in high school I knew I wanted to do comedy. I didn't know how to go about doing it because this is like the early days in the internet and
Mhm.
my mind like, oh, you got to go to Hollywood or New York or something. But yeah, I would say high school I knew I wanted to do it, and then I started doing it in college. Not well, but I started doing it in college.
So in college, were you kind of, like, dabbling with stand-up, or were you doing improv in college?
In college, I was doing stand up and sketch.
Mhm.
Um, but stand up is difficult to do when you're young because, a lot of times you're talking about your life experiences, and I hadn't really done much of anything in life.
Mhm.
And I would do stand up when I would come home from college in the summertime. And the college I went to, it was more of it wasn't a black school, but it was a black school. You know what I mean? And then I was going home to like the suburbs in Ohio, and like most of the experiences I had lived in college, like I didn't know how to translate it to like a way that they would
Mhm.
understand. Um, so I would have nights where I was really good and I would kill depending on the audience, and there'd be other nights where it was like, bruh, this is not it. At all. It was discouraging, especially in the beginning, because like you want to do it, but it's like I don't know how to do it because I didn't really have the structure of how to write jokes. I
Mm.
just knew I was funny and I would have these ideas of things I would try to do on stage. And sometimes they would work and sometimes they wouldn't. And it really wasn't until I was older, because I stopped doing comedy after I graduated from college because I got my big boy job. And I was living my big boy life and I just wasn't really doing it. But then I started doing comedy again when I was 30. I was doing improv first, and then maybe around the time I was 37, I started doing stand up again. And that's when I actually kind of knew what I was doing. Like, I actually learned joke structure and, like, this is how you write, this is how you do all those things. And since then, I've been much more successful with it than I was in my youth of 19 and 20 and 21.
So you mentioned as far as, like, when you were doing it younger, you didn't have, like, life experience to draw off of for your jokes. So, what kind of, uh, material, like, inspires, what you put into your comedy now?
Now it's about um, a lot of it is like just whatever it is that I'm dealing with in life.
Mhm.
So a lot of it is family things. Like I talk about my wife, my kids. Um, I talk about social issues. I talk about race. I talk sometimes about politics.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of how I go about doing jokes. So like a joke structure is like it's whatever your topic is and how do you feel about it, right?
Mhm.
So if I don't really have a joke per se, I'll just kind of come up with different premises. And so like, I'll write down like what's hard in my life right now, what's
Mm.
annoying, what am I worried about, what gives me anxiety, um, what do I think is weird, what do I think is stupid, and then from there, like I can come up with like jokes or like at least premises, like starting with something honest. Like that's the main thing I do now is like I write from an honest place. When I was younger, I was more so writing like I think this is funny or I think this is what's gonna make the people laugh, but it wasn't necessarily always honest.
Yeah. So, you talked about, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. Almost, using your life in your work, right, which requires a certain level of vulnerability. So, how do you balance as far as um having like a boundary of like what not to talk about in your comedy?
Ooh, that's a trial and error. um, because I'm pretty much an open book,
Mhm.
but the people in my life are not
Mhm.
necessarily. My wife, who you know well, she's a very private person.
Mhm.
So like I have to think about like what can I share on stage versus what I shouldn't share. Um, and a lot of times like a good guideline for that is like, is this coming from a place of love or is this coming from a place where like this is like atta- excuse me, like attacking or could
Mhm.
be like perceived as cruel or something like that.
Mm.
Is she the punchline or is something just happening around us that's the funny thing?
Okay.
Um, also, like, I'll talk about like my kids and things that they do, but it's also like if they were to hear this,
Mm.
would they be okay with this?
Yeah.
If their friends heard this joke, would
Mm.
this like
Yeah.
jack up their social life? Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Hmm.
And when they're young, it's like whatever. But not now that they're older and they have, or at least my son, has more access to like social media and like some of his friends follow me, which
Mhm.
is weird. But I get it. I understand why, but it's like
Mhm.
y'all are 15. I don't necessarily know if I want you to hear me talk about these things.
Mhm.
So, that's part of the reason why I don't post a lot of my comedy. Like, come see me live,
Mhm.
and you'll hear what I really have to say and think. And then, but like, I don't really post jokes, especially like things that has to do with them per se.
Yeah, 'cause yeah. Kids are mean.
They are,
Kids can be
they
mean.
are,
Um,
can be,
so but, they are.
yeah,
But,
fix it.
no, but that's good that you take them into consideration because some people are like, "Oh, this is my career, I'm gonna talk about what I wanna talk about, you just gotta deal with it." But do you ever run any jokes past them, like, before you perform them?
Sometimes I will tell my son some of my jokes, like the jokes that are okay for him to hear.
Mhm.
Like the things that like, oh, this won't give him like a complex,
Mhm.
per se. And he'll tell me if he thinks it's funny or not, or like the degree of like how funny it is, or like he'll just bust out laughing. So like I know like, oh, he likes this, he thinks this is funny.
Mhm.
Um, so I'll tell him some of my jokes. My daughter, not so much. I tell her some things, but like she's still young and I don't want her
Mhm.
to fully know what the world is
Yeah.
from my eyes. I want her to still have hope and joy.
Still have a little innocence.
Yeah, exactly. Where my son, he knows what it is.
Mhm.
He knows what the world is. But I don't want him to hear jokes about like me and my wife's sex life.
Mhm.
That's not for him to hear.
No, no, that's gonna lead to some therapy.
Yeah.
Or
Which
he'll become a stand-up comedian, and he'll talk about that'll be his therapy, him
yeah,
talking about how his dad traumatized him by being a stand-up
facts.
comedian.
Well,
So
he's done stand up before.
well, I remember he was doing improv, so he's done some stand-up now?
Well, he did it once. He
Okay.
did it for his 8th grade talent show like 2 years ago.
Oh, nice.
And he did good. He did. I was really proud of him. Like, he wrote his whole set. Like I coached him like here's how you structure a joke.
Mhm.
And we went through that writing process. We talked about like, what's hard, what's weird, what's scary. And he wrote his own jokes. I just helped him punch him up a little bit or like streamline his thoughts. Like, all right, stay on one topic. You're kind
Mhm.
of all over the place. But yeah, yeah, he did good. I was proud of him.
So you mentioned earlier about being a Lyft driver, and if you follow Jabari made it right on TikTok. Um,
Yeah.
you do your Lyft stories, your Lyft driver stories, which are hilarious. But as far as like content is concerned, because you say you don't like posting your clips from your stand up, for the reasons that we discussed. But have you ever considered doing like skits and sketches online, maybe like stuff with your kids?
Um, I thought about it. Part of so it's an interesting thing that you're talking about because there's two aspects of comedy. There's one aspect of let me get really good at being on stage, right?
Mhm.
And then there's the other aspect of let me develop a following, let me have content, let me be marketable,
Mhm.
let me be bookable. Because that's one of the problems that a lot of comics, like especially the ones at my level, struggle with is like, I'm really good on stage, but I'm not going to sell any tickets in St. Louis. Do you know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
like, what's the motivation for a club to book me? Because, like, ultimately, they're trying to put butts in seats.
Mhm.
So you could be really good at what you do, but if no one knows who you are, if you're not really going to draw a crowd, it's harder to get booked, like as a feature or as like the main comic that's performing in the headliner, if you will.
Mhm.
Um, so lately, or for the most part, because I'm newer at stand up, like actually
Mhm.
like really doing it within the past 3 years, my focus has really been like, let me get good at this because what's the point of being able to draw a crowd if you suck? Do you know what I mean? Like people will come see you once and be like, that's not it. And I'm not, and they're not going to come back.
Yeah.
So the product is good.
Mhm.
Now it's figuring out like, all right, how to market it and
Mm.
all those type of things. So this is a long answer to your question. But yes, I have thought about doing sketches and skits and things like that. But honestly, like I have the time. I just don't want to do it, if that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yeah, no, it
Like
does.
it's a
I've had
lower priority at this
I've
point.
I've had this conversation, or I've been having this conversation with people about, um, kind of outsourcing the things that you don't enjoy doing, that you need to do, because as artists, if we wanna make money doing what we're doing, you gotta treat it like a business, and you have to market yourself, and you have to, social media is a necessary evil, so uh,
Yeah.
it might come to a point where it's like, okay, well, I don't want to do the filming and the editing. I have an idea of something, but I don't want to do the filming and editing and stuff. So it's like,
Right.
let me find somebody to partner with who wants to create content, who enjoys that part of it, and let them come film my random sketch ideas that I have. So,
Right.
because
Yeah,
if I was still in Philly, I'd be down to do it.
I know
Um,
you would.
but
Yeah, and that's the thing is just editing video and all the other stuff,
Mhm.
and then I mean, I'm making it harder than what it is. I just it's just not something I wanna do at the moment, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
but, it's like you said, it's a process, so it was like a focus first on, "Let me get good on stage," and then now it's like, "Okay, let me market myself," and there's other ways. I mean, you don't have to market yourself through social media, as a
Yeah.
comedian. There are other ways, and it's a large part of it is networking. Part of it is doing
Mhm.
things like this, podcast interviews. This is how I've learned about comedians here in El Paso, is from a podcast
Okay.
that I listen to, and it's from a promoter who promotes comedy shows, and so he brings the comedians onto his podcast. So then, I learn about who the comedians are down here. So,
That's smart.
it's something to put on your marketing to-do list, is look for, podcasts in different areas to, potentially get interviews with, and then maybe you can get bookings there. If you wanna
Yeah.
come do some stand-up comedy in El Paso, I got a hookup for you.
All right, I appreciate that. You know, I may take that trip down there.
Um, but you mentioned about, right, having time to do things, right? So, you have your day
Yeah.
job, you have your comedy, your stand-up comedy, you mentioned you're doing promoting, and then as well, you're a husband and a father. So how do you balance all of that? How do you manage your energy levels and your health with it making sure that you are having, um, time to address any type of potential burnout?
Yeah, it's a difficult process. A lot of times I have to evaluate what my priorities are because there's so many things I want to do,
Mhm.
but they're not all going to get done within the time frame that I want to do them in. So it's kind of like what's important, like what are the things that I really want to accomplish that's going to take me towards my goals, right?
Mhm.
Not just like, oh, this is the fun thing to do, but like what's actually going to make a dent in like the journey I'm trying to take. So there's like that plus what are the things I have to do, whether I want
Mhm.
to do them or not,
Yeah.
like what has to be done, and then what's like the time frame of all these things that need to be accomplished. And then so like I just kind of make my list
Mhm.
and then I organize it based off of the priorities, like what needs to be done and like what's gonna like push me towards my goals. And if it's not something that's gonna push me towards my goals and it's not something that I have to do and it's not something that is enjoyable, then it's kind of like, all right, well, let's not do that thing like right now. We can
Mhm.
handle that later.
Yeah.
But as far as like burnout, like that's definitely a real thing. And that's part of the reason why it feels like for me, it's been a slow journey because like I would have these moments, not moments, but just this period of time where I would just like be bursting with energy and creativity and like I would
Right.
put so much out there and I would commit to so many things because like, oh, this is great. I'm having such a good time. But then like it'll be time to do those things. I'm like, bro, I don't want to do none of this like right now because like there was all the things I wanted to do, but then like that have to do list started piling up. It's like I don't have enough time for all these things. So what I do now is I try to leave room for cream. Like if we're talking about
Mm.
coffee, right?
Yeah.
Um, I have like a list of the things that I want to do. Like these are the shows that are most important to me. Like this is the stuff I want to do. But then it's also like I need to leave room for chaos. Because there's always chaos.
There's
I
always
have a
gonna be
15-year-old.
something.
There's
Mhm.
always something, whether it's home repairs. Like I'm trying to fix the porch of my house because the wind blew part of it off. So now I got to replace that. Um, my son, who's 15, has a big social life and he needs rides here and there.
1 more year. 1 more year, he'll get a
Yeah.
license.
Yeah. He's also got a girlfriend now. So there's like that. So there's like those life conversations with him. Plus, like, taking care of my wife, taking care of my kids. So it's all those things. So it's kind of like, yeah, I want to do all the shows, but I realistically cannot. So
Mhm.
like sometimes I have to turn some things down because like I just know if I overextend myself, then nobody gets the best version of me. And
Yes.
people want the best version of me and I want to give them the best version. Like if you're going to interact with me, I want to give you the best experience I can give you. I want you to feel like, man, this is worth my time and money. And not only was it worth my time and money, but like I got more than what I paid for. This was like really a steal. Like this was so good. So I try not to overextend myself, which can be frustrating because it feels like a longer journey than it should take. But at
Yeah.
the same time, if I burn out, then like I'm not gonna want to do anything for like 3 months. I'm just gonna stay in bed and do the bare minimum, and then that's not fun for anybody.
Have you ever gotten to a point where you felt like you might quit? Where it was like, this is too much. Let me just go do my job and live my life, and or was it like, no, I can't quit because this is a part of who I am?
It was never a point where I felt like I was gonna quit, but, like, I was super depressed at times. It
Uh-huh.
was more of like, "Imma quit at life." Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
More like suicidal type things, but fortunately, I had a therapist I was working with, and, I was able to talk a lot of those things out, but ultimately, a long story short, like, she diagnosed me, and she's like, "I think you're bipolar," uh, which I'm not. But she was able to, like, see, like, "Hey, you need to speak with a psychiatrist." Spoke with a psychiatrist. Turns out I have major depressive disorder,
Mhm.
which is similar to bipolarism, but you don't get, like, the extreme
The
highs,
mania.
but you get the
Yeah.
same lows.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, I feel cheated because I want the highs. Like,
You want the high.
if I gotta have the lows,
I gotta have the
let me
lowest
get some of
lows,
the
give me the
highs.
highest highs.
Yeah, but no, I have a low ceiling, but a
Mhm.
lower
And a
basement,
lower amount.
and
So,
but yeah, so I'm on the right medication now, so that helps me balance, um,
how
and,
does
like,
your comedy
yeah.
help with that? As far as, with your mood, do you find that doing the comedy, um, helps pull you through those kind of depressive states?
Sometimes. Yeah, it depends on what's kinda causing the depression, like, what the feeling is. Um, I would say yes, it does because it kinda gives me a sense of purpose.
Mhm,
Um, like, for me, like, what I kinda live by, like, there's things I try to put into the world, like,
mhm,
I try to put beauty into the world, playfulness into the world, and love into the world. And so that can look like a lot of different things, right? So playfulness, like that could just be me being silly and joking around with my kids. It could be doing a show. It could be creating a comic strip. Like it could be all these different things. So like sometimes like when I feel really down, like I focus like, am I really living by my values or like mission statement? I don't know exactly what I would call it, but the things that I try to put in the world, like am I living by these things? And if not,
mhm,
like let's kind of refocus, like let's get back to like the main point of it all. But yeah, comedy, it kind of helps me because it is sort of like I feel like it's part of my purpose, or at least like that playfulness
mhm.
of it all. Um, and it just kind of helps me push through uh, some of those dark days, if you will. I feel like I've talked so much, I don't even remember what the real question was.
No, 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 you answered the question.
I went through so many things,
So many thoughts.
so many thoughts that it just turned into so many tangents.
No, no, no. That's how, you get those that's how you get those sound bites.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
but, so wh what's something that people misunderstand about stand-up comedy and improv that you wish they knew?
It's while it looks like it's all fun and games, it's serious work. Um, and it requires a level of professionalism that I think a lot of people don't realize that you need to truly be successful
Mhm,
with it because you gotta be on time, right? You gotta be in the right headspace. Like, you can go to your day job and be in a funk, and it's kinda like whatever, especially if you're not dealing with the general public. But when you're going on stage, like, people are coming to see
mhm.
you, like, do your thing. Um, so you have to take care of your mental health. You gotta take care of your body because you gotta be able to get up there and perform. So it's not just like, "Oh, let's just show up and be goofy." Like, no, there's a lot of work that goes into it. There's a lot of mental preparation that goes into it. Um,
How do you
and a
personally
lot
mentally prepare for a show?
I do a couple things. I meditate a little like on the car right there, like to kind of come to focus
Mhm.
and be present. Um, I put on music that helps set the mood that I need to be in.
Mhm.
Like if there's a time where maybe I'm feeling timid or a little scared or just like not like ready to go, like there's certain music I put on for that. If there's music where, or if I'm feeling kind of like just serious but not really fun, like I have a different playlist for that that's kind of upbeat and helps me be
So you
silly.
got some ratchet, some 3 6 Mafia in there, some whoop that trick when
No,
you need to
surprise,
get pumped.
it's none of that. If I need
Really?
to get if I need to get focused and like kind of be like ready to go, it's a lot of blues music. Like it's
Oh.
like Muddy Waters, it's a lot of like old soul music. It's a lot of things that kind of have like just like a driving beat to it. Like
Mm,
it's kind of like the consistent theme that kind of helps me lock
mm,
in. Like one of those main songs is like Manish Boy by Muddy Waters.
okay.
Because he's just on there talking shit,
Mhm.
pretty much.
So it gets
Um,
you in your cocky mood to get
a
on
little
stage.
bit.
See, I'm the
Yeah.
opposite. I put on, when I'm on my way to a photo shoot and I need to be a little turned up, that's when I pull out the Megan Thee Stallion and Sexy Red, all this stuff I don't normally listen
uh,
to. And it's
I'm
like,
looking
I need
for
to
the
be rapping and hype.
hoes.
Yeah. So and then I put on the chill, the SZA and stuff on the way back to calm myself down. Like, bring it
Yeah.
down now.
Yeah. I definitely have my post-show playlist too, which also kinda brings those energy levels back down. Um, but yeah, so I do those things and then, it's dumb, but, like, as I'm walking to, like, whatever place, like, that the show's in, like, I'll people watch, and then I'll just, like, assume, like, that person's personality, and, like, I'll do, like, a little monologue
Mm.
as that person
Oh my
just to
god.
jump to characters real
That's your
quick.
content right there. That's your content. Is you need to get some, like, Meta glasses or something, right? And then
Mm.
when you're sitting and you're doing that, just, like, talk it out loud, and just,
Well,
like
that's what I do. I do talk it out
yeah,
loud.
okay, well, then you need to record it. It's like I mean, as long as you're not being mean.
Yeah, well, it's not so much, me picking on that person, it's just, like, how's that person carry themselves, their mannerisms,
Yeah.
and then, like, I'll initiate, like, almost like a little
Like a
improv scene
voice, like,
based
what
off of
what
how
is their current inner voice as they're walking down the street?
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like that.
That's content right there. That's a series. That's a TikTok
Yeah,
series right there.
you know what? That's not a bad idea. I
This is
might
this
have to
is what
do
I
that.
do right here. I was just on my previous interview. I was kicking like, as he was talking, I'm like, "This is what you need to do."
Just see people see me jumping in different characters and all
Yeah,
that, yeah.
because I told you, listen, what was his name? Cleveland Detroit, one of your
Oh,
characters
yeah,
in The Office, and then there was, our
the
coworkers,
little German boy.
the Southern South Carolinian gentleman caller, uh
Yeah,
what
yeah.
was it? The old boys ties? Was it old boys ties or young what was
Yeah,
it?
it's the old boys, cause that's what it was,
We
'cause
were
it
like,
was,
"Why is it not young men? It's old boys ties."
yeah, everything is young men's. And it was like, "I'm here for the old boys section." It was that type of thing.
Yeah, so it's like even if you just, like, use your random characters, your German character, I forget what his name was, but,
Who knows?
you just put the camera on and you get into that voice and you just start riffing, and it's just, like you used to do in the office. It was always
Yeah,
our other department would come over, it's like, "What is everyone laughing about? Like, what is so loud back here?" Um
yeah,
so, sometimes that's all it takes. It's like, I'm a huge fan of, Jordan the Stallion on Instagram and TikTok.
yeah, I
But
like his stuff too.
it started off as him just ruining, like not ruining, but, like, putting out recipes, secret recipes he would get and putting them out there. And then
Mm.
he started this trend of, like, throwing his glasses, like, tasting
What's
food
up
and throwing
tastes
his glass,
good?
and now he's got Aaron Pierre, Method Man, Michael B. Jordan.
Donald Glover.
Yeah, he's got all these celebrities, like, featuring in his videos now, so it's literally sometimes
Yeah.
it's just something what was his name? Kwame? Dark skin, I think he's an African guy, but he wouldn't say anything. I
Mm.
don't think anybody's ever heard his voice, but something he would have a video and he would stitch and he would just go like it would be something so stupid, and he's just like
Y
and that
yeah.
and then he became, like, one of, like, the highest followed people on TikTok off of that. So,
Mm.
sometimes it's just a
Alright.
matter of not overthinking it. It doesn't
You
have
gave
to
me some
be
ideas, some things to work with
It
now.
doesn't have to be a full production anymore, and it's like, that's the
Yeah.
trend. I've been doing a lot of research about TikTok, and it's like viewers are moving away from, like, consuming overproduced content. They
They want it very stripped down.
they want the authenticity of just who people are, you know? And it's like,
Yeah.
as soon as there was a video the other day, it was Aaron Pierre, as soon as he was like, "Come here." As soon as he said, "Come here," I was like, "This is a Jordan Stallion video." Like,
Yeah.
and then here comes Jordan off, into the shot. So it's like, the a little catchphrase and consistency. That's the other thing.
That's the other part,
Yeah,
yeah.
is consistency. So it's like, you can experiment with some things in the beginning, but once you have what works and and it clicks, um
Hit it.
yeah. So you'll figure out your niche. Just you just gotta put it out there. Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but even if it's your Lyft diaries, I like the Lyft diaries, but it's just like, um, keep doing it. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
eventually the right people will see it. So, because
Yeah.
as someone who was briefly a Lyft driver, I relate.
Mm, mm.
Some
Yeah,
of the
it's
stuff
wild out
that has
there.
happened in the very brief time, I think I did it for, like, a month, and I was just like, the stories I have are insane.
Yeah. And, part of I haven't done it as much lately because when I first started driving for Lyft, I was doing it at night,
Mhm.
and that's when the wild stuff typically happens.
Mhm.
During the morning, like, is what I do more so now, and that's just people going to work, and they're just miserable. No one really talks. They're just people are more fun when they're on their way to or from something fun.
Mhm.
But in the mornings, they're like, "Bruh, just get me to Terminal D. I'm about to go work at Spirit," you know?
Like, "Please don't talk
You
to
know?
me."
Yeah. Everyone's either going to the airport or they going to, CHOP or Penn or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
Hospitals in
I
Philadelphia for the international listeners.
I had taken an Uber to the hospital once, and I'm like, "God, please stop talking to me." No, I don't really feel like, having a conversation in this moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as a driver, you gotta know, like, when do they wanna talk versus when they don't.
Yeah,
'Cause there ain't no
you
point
gotta learn
trying
how
to
to
talk
read the
when they
room.
don't. Exactly.
And speaking of reading the room, so with stand-up comedy, um
Transition.
transition. So,
You doing this like an old pro on episode 2.
listen, I look, I have it's up here, you can't see it. I got a degree up there in communication, so I
Mhm.
had the training, I just needed the tool in the time and the resources.
And
But
you got it.
reading the room as a stand-up comedian, right? So, how do
Mhm.
you 'cause you write your jokes, you have your set. If your set is not hitting with the audience the way you want it to, do you have, like, different ways that you can kinda shift that? Like, do you have, like, "Okay, well, this is the set I planned out, but let me do this alternative set because this crowd is weird."
Yeah, yeah, I have that. First of all, like, if I tell a joke and the joke doesn't hit, like, I'll say, like, "That didn't go well." Like, and that use like, just that honesty in a sense, like, it softens them up, like, and, it generates laughter because it's true, like, and we're
Mhm.
all on the same page. Um, Fortunately, these days, I don't have that issue very often, but I feel like I do a pretty good job of, like, reading a crowd before I
Mm,
go on stage.
okay.
And especially, like, if I'm not the first comedian, like, I could see what they laugh at from, like,
Mhm.
the other comedians, like, "Alright, I kinda get what they like or don't like." And then a lot of it is just stereotyping people, like, "Alright, I know if I'm playing to, like, this 40/50-year-old whiter crowd in the suburbs, like, alright, here's some stuff that I can do." If it's a younger crowd, like, 11 o'clock on a Wednesday night in the city, like, alright, that's different jokes, like, because different people want different things.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm able to kinda, like, read the room before I get on stage, and then even if, like, I start down a certain path and it's like, "Ah, these jokes really aren't hitting the way I want," like, I have other jokes I can pull out that, that will typically work, for those
Now,
situations.
how often does your improv skills come into play with the stand-up stuff?
All the time, I use it every show.
Okay. 'Cause
Yeah.
you do crowd I mean, I've seen you do crowd work, um, and I just remember during the Philly's Funniest, you had, like, an incident with the mic, right? And then, like, I think you had, like when you plugged the mic back in, like, the cable kinda, like, hit the lady in the front row briefly, and you went
Yeah.
on this whole, like, improv thing about like, reverse slavery or something. It was like, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that moment is what, like, got you into, like, the next round because the crowd was rolling off of the improv moment from that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes those are the funnest moments because it's unexpected, and the crowd knows that it's unexpected too, so they're always impressed when it's like, "He's doing this off the top of his head,"
Yeah,
you know?
'cause then it's
Um,
a testament of, like, "Oh, he's really a funny person. He's not just someone who wrote jokes and got up here and told them. No, he's just a funny guy."
yeah, yeah. One of the mistakes that a lot of comedians make when they do stand up is they go up there and they just, like, do their set, and they're, like, just talking to the crowd. But stand up is really a conversation,
Mm.
but the crowd in general is not talking back to you per se.
Unless they're
It's a
heckling.
one-way conversation. Yeah, and let or sometimes, like, they'll talk, like, if I ask a question or, like, they'll say, like, a reaction, but, like,
Mhm.
you can read facial expressions. Like, you can see, like, how people feel about what you're saying, and you can react and respond
Mhm.
based off of that. Like, in stand-up and improv, like, it's really more so stand-up, you really wanna connect with the crowd,
Yeah.
because if you can connect with the crowd, then, like, the jokes will go better. Like, I
Mhm.
did a show last Friday where I didn't connect with the crowd as much, and it wasn't a bad show, but it was just like a C. I would give it a grade of a C for a
Mhm.
show, where I feel like most of my shows are more like B plus, A level shows and stuff like
Mhm.
that. But then I had a show last night, no, Tuesday night, where, like, I definitely connected with the crowd and everything just, like, flowed
Mhm.
so much better. But yeah, it's mainly about connection, um, and that's one of the ways that improv and stand-up are similar
Mhm.
because in stand-up, like I said, you're trying to connect with the crowd. In improv, you're connecting with the other performers that you're on stage with.
Mhm.
So you're making eye contact, you're listening, you're responding to it's like, tennis, like, it's
Mm.
back and forth. In stand-up, it's the same thing, except for, like, the audience usually isn't necessarily speaking, they're just speaking with their laughter, or their silence, or their gasp, or, like, whatever. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
like, it's communication, it may just be nonverbal per se.
Mhm. So, I mean, you're doing a lot of things now. Following you on Instagram. I'm seeing all the shows that you're posting and that you're hosting. Um, so how I mean, 'cause, I know that your degree is in marketing. So, how have you been, kind of now combining all of your skills as far as your background in sales, your background in customer service, your experience in marketing is now all gelling together into your comedy career. Um, how has that been going for you as far as, like, now being kind of a show promoter?
Yeah, that's a weird thing to think of, like,
Well, you hadn't
that I
even put
that
it
I
all
do that.
together.
No, no, I know what I am,
Oh,
but, like,
okay.
it like, so I definitely use all those things, to make the show, like, the be the best I'm gonna answer your question, but I'm not gonna answer your question.
Mhm.
Um, one of the things that I had to learn to do is just be comfortable promoting myself, putting myself out there. I was very hesitant to do that in the beginning or promote, like,
Mhm.
it's just, like, hangups, like, mental hangups, like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I don't wanna put myself out there like that. I don't wanna be a target," or, like, I was just afraid
Yeah.
to, like, put stuff out there, but, like, when you're doing all the things I'm doing, like, you have to promote
Mhm.
because if you don't, people aren't gonna show up, and it's no fun to perform in front of 2 people, you want people to be in the crowd.
Yeah.
So, like, I I had to learn how to make posters and flyers and print them out and hang them up around town to, like, draw up local interest. Instagram ads, just like little marketing, like little reels or videos I do for each individual comedian that performs on my monthly showcase, like just awareness. Cause a lot of times comedians, like, we like doing comedy. We don't necessarily like promoting. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah.
So, like, I kind of do it for them. Like, I'll make like their own like little highlight reel, if you will,
Mhm.
and then I'll invite them to be a collaborator on it.
Yeah.
All they have to do is just accept it, and then it's like, boom, look, so
Mhm.
and so's performing Saturday night, and look at this dope reel, like, and the comedians appreciate it and all those things. But yeah, like customer service, sales, marketing, like all of it comes in together, like, especially for like customer service, like I try to I try to give more than I take.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, like, I do a lot for, like, the comedians that I book on my show. I do a lot for the crowd, you know, things that are hard to come by for a comedian, like pictures and a quality video. And I give them that, like, like, I record their sets and I'll send them the link to their video.
Nice.
So, like, you know, and that inspires people to have a good show because then it's like, "Oh, I can use this to submit to something."
Mhm.
And I usually draw a pretty good crowd, so it's like a good tape at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And then, like, pictures of them in action, which is, like, quality stuff of, like, what people need.
Mhm.
And then I pay them guaranteed money,
Mhm.
like, regardless of how the show sells, like, I'm gonna pay you X amount of
Yeah, you're an
dollars. Eh
excellent promoter.
Yeah. And then there's an opportunity for more money if, like, the show sells really well.
Mhm.
Um but then as far as, like, the crowd, like, I put together a good lineup of comedians. I only book people that I feel like are gonna be good for this specific crowd or demographic or whatever it may be. Um, and then, like, the ticket is only, like, $10 if you buy in advance, 15 at the door,
Mhm.
and then the venue's BYOB, plus I give, like, free beer and wine.
No.
So, like,
Well, I'm gonna be in Philly in February, so let me go ahead and
yeah,
put that on my schedule, so I
yeah.
can come through.
Yeah, come through.
Mhm.
But that it goes to, like, I try to give more than I take. Like, I'm
Yeah.
only asking for $10. You drink 2 drinks, that's more than what the ticket was worth.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, but it's not a money-making venture for me. It's
Mhm.
more so like
It's a
I
community.
need to it's a community and, like, I needed to perform more. Like, that's part
Mhm.
of the reason why I started doing my
Mm.
own showcase because I would write, but then I wouldn't get up to do anything. But, like, having a show every month like, it forced me like, "All right, well, we're gonna put this into practice now."
Mhm.
And because I get repeat customers, I'm doing a new set each month.
Wow.
So I'm doing, like, anywhere between 8 and 12 minutes each month
Mhm.
because, you know, people like your jokes, but at the same time, they don't wanna hear the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
So, like, I did this because, like, all right, I need to get up and perform more. I need to get better tape than what I had for my sets. And then, like, I need to network more, and it's really helped me do, like, all those things, and since I've started the show, like, I've been booked in Next in Line, which
Nice.
is, like, a comedy club here in Philly.
Mhm.
Um, I just got accepted for the Last Word, Comedy Festival in Williamsburg, Virginia, so I'll be doing that at
Nice.
the end of January, so and it's all off of, like, video tape that I have from my show, like, if I didn't have this show, like, I don't think I would have these things or, like, the opportunities that are coming my way.
Yeah, so it's I mean, it's a multifaceted tool where it's like, one, it's an opportunity for the comedians that you're inviting to perform, but it's also, um, an opportunity for you to continuously work your comedic muscle of writing new jokes every month. It's giving you a platform as a tastemaker in the Philadelphia comedy scene. And
Yeah,
it's you're differentiating yourself from the other um showcases because of the content you're creating for the comedians. So then that word then spreads to other comedians like, yo, go do this showcase because you're gonna get content and stuff that you can use to promote yourself. But um,
yeah.
very proud of you as your friend and colleague, and I appreciate you for coming to talk about, your how your creativity and your reality come together, but also how you balance the 2. So is there any final thoughts you have or, anything you wanna highlight, promote?
Um, I if you're ever in the Philly area, every 2nd Saturday in the month, I have my showcase, Liberty Bell Laughs. It's at the Salbona Creativity Project in South Philly. 8:30 showtime. Like I said, it's BYOB. Plus, I give out free beer and wine. I have 3 different bottles of wine. I got
Ooh.
a red, I got a Moscato, and then I got Pinot Grigio, and then just standard Yingling
Of course, it's
for beer.
Pennsylvania. You gotta have
Yeah,
Yuengling.
yeah, it's just standard Yingling. But yeah, like I'm proud of you for all the things that you do and just the growth and the journey that you're on. And taking the chances that you take in life. And I guess that would be what I would leave the audience with. Like, whatever it is that you want in life, you gotta take chances, you gotta take risks, especially with things that are scary.
Mhm.
And chances are, if that thing scares you, then that's probably the thing that you should be doing.
Yes.
Um, because, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I was scared to death to even just go to an improv jam. And now I do that like it's nothing, but, like, if I didn't take, like, that step, then I wouldn't be where I am today. So you just gotta take those steps, and it's okay if they're small steps, and you step slowly, as long as you start to do it,
Mhm.
you kinda gotta step out into that place where it's uncomfortable to go at least try to get the things that you want in life, especially if it's something that really means something to you. Because otherwise you'll be sitting around, woulda, shoulda, coulda, woulda, and I know I didn't say that right, but
Mhm.
just wishing you had done something, and then you look
Mhm.
back and it's like, man, I didn't really do a whole lot of much of anything with my life other than finish all these Netflix series, and that's not what you're gonna brag about on your deathbed. It's not what you wanna brag about. So get out there and do something
I like it. If you wanna be somebody, if you wanna go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention to
and pay
Jabari
attention
Saeed, who is one of Philly's funniest comedians. I appreciate you, Jabari. Thank you for joining me, and thank you everyone for listening and watching.
Life doesn't always stay in perfect focus. There's magic in the blur we can't ignore. Every shadow, every highlight softly shows us who we are and who we're reaching for. When the world feels out of frame, every thought, every fear, every revelation, I find my way through the quiet flame, light in life and all the limitations.